I'm making another quick update. I don't believe I've been able to catch them in the act yet. However, regarding that, they do inject insulin into the pets. It's just really, really fucking hard to catch. Because all four of them, John, Frederick, Deborah Leanne, Rainey Amelie, and also John Galen, collaborate together in injecting the pets and murdering them. They know particular doses in general. They've injected into all of the cats before, and dogs. They murdered Ishta. They murdered Naji. They also murdered Tico and Isabel, and as well as a dog for whom belonged to a law enforcement officer in general. The dog's name was Simon. What I'm going to state now is completely true. John Frederick Armstrong, as well as Deborah Leanne Armstrong and Rainey Amelie Armstrong, for sure, not only injected insulin into Simon, but they also chopped off Simon's feet in general. I found a paws around the backyard because I was walking around in the yard in general right after John Frederick Armstrong and Deborah Lee Ann Armstrong and Rainey Amelie Armstrong were talking in the backyard regarding the fact that they felt as if they were going to get in trouble in general for what they do to the pets, because the pets that they murdered, which specifically Simon and as well as Isabel, belonged, I meant to say, to a law enforcement officer in general. There's one more dog in the house that also belonged to the family for whom have law enforcement officers in the family and security guards too. I wanted to state that because it's true, because I've had it, and there's nothing else that I can do but record. So that is why I'm recording. I'm trying to record what is going on and what has occurred, because it's the only thing that I can do to literally help any of what has occurred in general. Dog murder, cat murder, and they're raising Galen this way. They draw him into murdering pets for some sort of, I'm not quite sure if it's experience or what, because my dad, John, is a weirdo, and he's mean, and he has raped me before. He utilized a type of pole that goes in a closet for holding hangers and stuff. And right now I'm going to show you a type of pole for which it looked similar to. Like that specific pole. In general. Only he had sharpened one end of it, and he took his time. He took his time sharpening an end and making a nice, long, sharp, sanded end, for which it was not nice. However, he sharpened it, and he took time. He took time sanding it as well, like a fucking weirdo in general. My dad is a weirdo. All I can do is record this. I have just explained a little bit of what has actually occurred in my life in Corona, California at 799 Minnesota Road, or I believe it was 7999 or 799 Minnesota Road, Corona, California. And I literally just found recently a document that actually has the actual address. And it's in one of my backpacks right now over there. And the only reason why I keep all of my bags already packed and my documents in bags is so anytime I go anywhere, even the grocery store, I have all of my medications with me and clothes as well as documents, because John, my dad, as well as Rainey, as well too, and Deborah, they have all gone into my room and taken my stuff. They've taken antivirals, literally. They've stolen them. They've also stolen painkillers, literally, as well, for which is like some sort of, I believe you can obviously get arrested for that, but it's been years, and I didn't say anything. So that was really fucking stupid. So I'm trying to literally record in general, lately, so I can try to catch them in the act of anything. They've also, as well, stolen the correct kind of Tasigna that literally gets rid of enlarged organs, as well as it reduces tumors. And right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a document that literally states it, because everyone for whom is watching, or those who listen, I am not a liar. I am not a liar at all, because otherwise there'd be like no way of anyone listening to my stupid fucking videos. Let me just grab the right document. And also the document regarding the document that is also in regards to the contaminated Tasigna, for which is at City of Hope. And this is the booklet for the incorrect kind. Notice how it looks different. It's a giant reading manual, reading material booklet. And it's horrible, and it's wrong. It's contaminated, as well as the hydroxyurea, specifically at the location City of Hope, Duarte, California. Now let me just also say that they also have contaminated medication that they prescribe to outpatients, that they prescribe to inpatients, that they pass to patients during admitted stays in general, as inpatients in general, to literally cause so many such problems like malfunctioning of the kidneys, as well as the what were called bags of liquid hydration by a rude, way too young and way too immature of a medical professional, for which I did not catch the name of the medical professional at all. I'm also not going to show the prescription of the incorrect Tasigna because I don't want to be sued. City of Hope, Duarte, California, is specifically contaminating those for whom become admitted, as well as those for whom are outpatients. I recorded the most recent exam with a doctor for whom has been a doctor of mine at City of Hope for a couple of years now, somewhere around 3. And I'm not going to state their name neither because I don't want to be sued. However, the doctor did say to get a different doctor in general, a different oncologist in general that actually has a specialty in oncology in general. The doctors at City of Hope, I do not believe that they actually have an oncologist on hand, which is scary. They don't have one. What is occurring at City of Hope, Duarte, California, is malpractice. I literally was able to research enough through communication with those for whom are lawyers, for whom responded back to me and told me that what they are doing is called malpractice. And I'm able to say it now, and I'm recording it too, because it's real. They have medications as well that cause particularities in the blood labs reflected on the blood lab reports to where it changes the numbers just enough so the diagnosis changes to a different diagnosis. And it is wrong. And it is mean. And the only thing that I can do is record in general. And I'm not going to show the prescription of the new Tasigna, the sticker thing on the card thing, because I really don't want to get sued. I'm not intelligent enough for that. Now let me grab my other Tasigna. That is the correct kind. It comes with a correct booklet. And I'm also not going to be showing that prescription neither, because I don't want to be sued from anyone. I can't deal with that. I don't know what that is like. I have never gone through it. I'm not intelligent enough for it. And I think it's also wrong if I get sued, because it's wrong in general for a patient to get sued. I'm just going to place the phone down for a second so I can find the correct booklet. I also have a PDR that I can. I have various educational reading materials for which I can utilize in my defense in terms of describing the correct Tasigna and compare and contrast to the incorrect contaminated Tasigna 150, for which is a brand new kind that even I was told, and I recorded as well on one of the videos on this channel, for which the channel is called The Delirium Project. And what the doctor said on the recording is that the brand new kind of Tasigna that they prescribe and that they pass to the patients during admitted stays and also outpatients, I meant, as well, is a kind of Tasigna 150 milligram that has to be specially ordered in general. And that is what I was told. And it is accurate. There are patients at City of Hope that are being literally contaminated. It's called malpractice. And I'm not even quite sure if there's anything that anyone can do. I'm pretty sure that patients are just being abused, neglected, and wrongfully treated in general. And now I'm going to show some reading material. Just not the little scanner code or any of that. I'm just going to point the camera directly where it says under the mechanisms of action. In general. Let me just find it. Let me just find this particular area regarding the rating material that comes with the specific correct kind of Tasigna. Just give me 1 second. And here it is. Wait, if my phone can hone in. All right. So as it says, 12.1 in mechanism of action. What we are reading for in this particular location of this reading material that comes with the correct kind of Tasigna, when it is prescribed or purchased, I believe, off of IndyMart.com, is where it states, nilotinib reduced the tumor size in general, because it is a specific kind of Tasigna in general that not only reduces tumors of various sizes, but it literally gets rid of tumors. And how do I know this? Because I have taken the correct kind of Tasigna before, and it has gotten rid of the tumors in my breasts in general, along with the diet that I eat, for which I eat heavily of vegan, as well as lacto-vegan. Here and there, I bounce back and forth or flip-flop back and forth between vegan and lacto-vegan. And I'm able to literally get rid of enlarged organs really quickly, as well as fix the what is called blockages / bowel obstruction, for which occurs from taking many kinds of tablets. It happens to specifically, say for example, chronic myelogenous leukemia patients as well too. Now, I'm just going to grab the incorrect guide regarding the contaminated Tasigna, so I can just show a little bit of what it does, because it's literally creating various types of problems that have or have not been diagnosed by particular individuals for whom are experiencing this. People need to not be afraid in getting the correct kind of Tasigna from IndyMart. It's something that fixes. It's something that helps. It's something that even makes one look, as if they got signed to Hollywood. Even it's the coolest medication out there. It really goes well with tablets that are taken, say for example, leukemia medications, as well as it works when one has been prescribed antibiotics of any kind. However, in regards to that, due to reading and research from the internet, I really never take an antibiotic that is the wrong kind. because I don't want to give myself a type of organ failure or what is called multiple organ failure in general, for which is scary and for which is wrong and for which is the meanest in general, in terms of the government literally doing this to us in general, doing this to people. This is occurring to people all across the United States. It's heavily what I believe created coronavirus. And no one knows. No one knows it. No one knows that it's an accumulative problem. Having bowel obstruction, vaccines, and also antibiotics. No one understands that it's an accumulation of vaccines and shots, allergy shots, antibiotics as well, and also Tylenol, plus also taking aspirin and ibuprofen and NSAIDs throughout the work week, throughout the month, throughout the year. No one gets that. No one's understanding that, is what I meant to say. No one's understanding it. Or somehow the government's literally keeping us so blind to what's occurring, and it's the meanest. It's the meanest thing. Because people are dying. It's been featured on Sky News. There were so many people in various beds, and they were so obese, and they were connected to the most horrible looking devices in general. They had so many tubes coming out of them. They were connected to the most horrible tubes that were connected to horrible medications that I don't even want to call medications at all. So many of them got treated with apheresis and plasma exchange apheresis and centrifuge. And that's not what was needed. They were murdered. So many people were murdered. And it's wrong. It's wrong. And no one in America knows this. The government's literally keeping us blind to all of it. And we most likely are related to those that were murdered, and no one in America knows this. No one knows. And now I'm unfolding the incorrect Tasigna that people are being prescribed at various government establishments that they're calling hospitals now. I showed this to my doctor. And he said, how is this different from the other Tasigna, Devin? And I clearly showed this to him. This particular new kind of Tasigna that's being prescribed specifically from, say, for example, specifically City of Hope, Duarte, California. As you can clearly see on this video, it creates gastrointestinal disorders, pancreatitis, abdominal discomfort, abdominal distension, dysgeusia, flatulence. That must be really difficult with one's bowel obstruction, blockages, and enlarged spleen and enlarged other various organs, for which we're sheerly being lied to. And when people get diagnosed for leukemia, CML, Chronic myelogenous leukemia, say for example, they're being prescribed a medication that causes ulcer perforation and enterocolitis. Enterocolitis. It's right there. It's right there. You can see it. You can also see where I underlined breast pain and where it says ulcer perforation and where it says weight increase, for which it's another way of telling people in so many words that it causes tumors and it causes ulcers and it causes eventually, with going back into the hospital for admitted stay and getting, say, for example, apheresis treatments, plasma exchange apheresis, and eventually centrifuge, it causes death. As well as the hydroxyurea that is being prescribed is also contaminated. It's the brand new Tasigna 150 milligram at City of Hope, Duarte, California, as well as the current prescribed hydroxyurea, for which I have older bottles of hydroxyurea, and all it does is bring down the white blood cell count, and I know how to use it. But someone really needs to listen, because the government is collaborating with City of Hope, Duarte, California. And City of Hope, Duarte, California prescribes a contaminated hydroxyurea and a contaminated Tasigna 150 milligram. And there's so many problems that this particular Tasigna causes this particular Tasigna causes so many particular problems in general. Immune system disorders, blood and lymphatic system disorders, metabolism and nutrition disorders, psychiatric disorders, and clearly, right as it says right here, nervous system disorders, eye disorders, ear and labyrinth disorders, gastrointestinal disorders, hepatobiliary disorders, subcutaneous tissue disorders, musculoskeletal connective tissue disorders, reproductive system disorders, breast disorders, all these different various disorders. It causes it. And there was a kind that used to be prescribed, and it's not prescribed at City of Hope, Duarte, California anymore. The government is ruining so many people. And now there's all these brand new young trainees and brand new young doctors at City of Hope. And I don't believe even they know what's going on. I think they're too young. I think they're too unexperienced. And all that's doing is literally killing people. It's eventual murder. Literally, eventual murder. And that is what City of Hope, Duarte, California, is doing. And I believe it's because the government is working with them or something like that. Because otherwise this would not be occurring. And this is definitely happening at City of Hope, Duarte, California, in California. For how many years, I don't even know. It's wrong, it's scary. And during the exam, my doctor said to literally get a different doctor in general. So I am doing that. I'm getting a different doctor. Because for someone to get prescribed a medication that causes the types of problems that the previous correct kind of Tasigna takes away is just wrong. So many people across America take antibiotics and aspirin and Tylenol and Nziads and different various prescriptions and tablets and pills, horse pills, antivirals. And all that this Tasigna is doing, in combination with any of what was just stated, is causing the worst bowel obstructions. The worst. And no one knew. I'm having to record so many videos to literally just show the fact that City of Hope Duarte, California is contaminating and murdering people. So many patients that I saw there are skinny and they're wrinkly and they're old now because of particular medications that they pass to patients. And I don't know how long it's been going on for. So many doctors were murdered. And I believe this occurred potentially at either City of Hope or somewhere else because their names there's so many doctors' names, older doctors that are not there anymore. It's like an odd, scary, weird place with all of these young trainees and young doctors. And there's so many patients that are literally going to City of Hope and they're being prescribed and passed medications that are literally changing their diagnoses from one state to another, from one diagnosis to another. Whether or not they know this, I do not know. But it's definitely happening. And I don't know what to do other than record what I can record. Because there's so many problems that these tablets and medications that are being prescribed and passed to City of Hope patients are causing. It's hard to literally record what's needed, to state a case or to have a case, to literally show anyone, a lawyer, a public defender, or someone for whom is on the side of someone for whom is going through such horrible atrocities, such horrible changes in someone's life. It's changing the diagnoses. And then patients are literally not prescribed apheresis, but they're sent to the apheresis treatment center. They're sent to plasma exchange apheresis. They're sent to centrifuge. And it's called a transplant. It's called a transplant. Apheresis, plasma exchange apheresis, and centrifuge. It's called a transplant. And I don't know what to do. They were trying to change my diagnoses, and they weren't able to. Because I grew up being belted by my dad. And I was raped when I was younger. With some weird ass, pardon my French, pole that goes in a closet to hang up hangers and clothes in the closet. This is all in regards to the brand new Tasigna. Because there's a kind that literally takes problems away. And that's the kind that used to be prescribed there. And there's a kind that is now prescribed by City of Hope that gives people problems and causes a change in diagnoses and makes people sick and puts them into apheresis, plasma exchange, apheresis, and centrifuge. So many people have died throughout several years of coronavirus, and no one really knew what any of that means. No one knew. I recently figured it out because I've been researching and reading the news, watching the news, and reading various research papers that have to do with antibiotics and whatnot to literally figure out what's been going on. This is Stephen Ariel Armstrong, signing out.